Hey everybody, welcome back to my Python 3 for Beginners tutorial series. In this video we're going to do something really cool and we're going to make a very small basic guess the number game. So the first thing we want to do is we want to have the computer make a random number. So I can put again from random import star just like we did in the last one, and we can input all the stuff from the random module, and I can go number equals randint, and we'll just do 1 to 10 to make it a bit easier. Now what I'm going to do just for testing purposes, and we can take this line out later, is I'm actually going to print the number, and I'm going to test that this works. Yes, it does. It's 4. So then we're going to want to allow the player to have 3 turns to guess. So we're going to want to set a variable, and we're going to want it to say turns equals 0. And what we're doing is we're setting it up so that turns equals 0, but when they get 3 turns, the game's going to be over. Now, in order to do this, we're going to need to make a loop, and that loop is going to have to run 3 times. So if you remember correctly, the loop that would be good for that you use until something becomes true is a while loop. So if I put while turns is less than 3, because I only want to have 0, 1, and 2 for the 3 turns. So while turns is less than 3, we're going to print please enter a number between 1 and 10. And then we're going to put guess equals input. Now, with that, if I put if, well, let me put the if up here. No, I'll put it right here. One thing you're going to want to notice is the indentation here. If I put if over here, it's going to think that I'm not any longer in the while loop. So I need to keep if over here so that it knows I'm still in the while loop. So if guess. Now here's another thing you need to know. Equals equals. When you do an equals sign normally, like when you assign a variable like turns equals 0, that single equal there is basically an assignment equals. It's assigning a value, so turns equals 0. But if you want to test and see if something equals something else, then you're going to need to do double equals. And one other thing we need to do here is do like we did before, guess equals int guess, because they're going to need to be numbers or it's not going to work correctly. So if guess equals number. So in this line we're saying if this guess that we're inputting equals whatever this random number is, then we're going to print congrats, you win. But then we're going to do else, print sorry, please try again. And then we're going to do something here. We're going to put turns plus equals 1. And what that's saying is if they guessed wrong and it prints out this sorry, please try again, increment turns by 1. So if we start out where turns equals 0 and we guessed wrong, now it's going to go up and turns is now going to equal 1. We do it again and guess wrong, turns is going to equal 2. So we're just basically saying increment turns by 1 every time. So let's try running this and see what happens. So we know the number's 2. So if we select 2 and hit enter, congrats, you win. And then it'll start all over again. I'm sorry. I missed something there. If they win, we want to break. We don't want to start over again. We just want to break and say that they won. So let's try this. So we're 5. Congrats, you win, and it broke. The app is over. You have to rerun it. But let's say I run it and I guess wrong. So we know it's 10. And we only have this in here for testing purposes. We'll take that out when we want to complete the game. But let's say I put a 3. Sorry, please try again. I'll just put 3 every time. Now it ended. So what we want to do is, now that we see this works, we're going to want to do another if statement. And we're going to want to put if turns equals 3. We're going to want to print sorry you lose. Now let's try this again. Oops, what's this say? Invalid syntax. If turns up, you know what I did? I forgot my colon. Let's do this again. Okay, so let's just do 3 3s again real quick. Now you'll see it brought up this sorry you lose, and then it ended the app. So by adding this extra if statement, we're checking if their 3 turns are up, and then we're reacting to it if it is. So what I would do now is, if I want to have this be a full game like this, I can take that away, and when I run it, now it doesn't print, and we would have to guess. So we could guess anything 3, 5, 2. Nope, I lost. But you can see now that it's working. It's a nice little guess the number game. So if we go over it here quickly again, since this video is getting long, we're importing the random module. We're loading the random module, and we're importing everything from it. We're creating a random integer between 1 and 10 with this line here, and we're assigning that random integer to the variable number. Then we're setting a variable turns, which we're assigning the number 0, and that's to control the amount of turns that the player has. Then we're using a while loop, and we're saying while turns, this variable right here, is less than 3. Then we're going to print please enter a number between 1 and 10. We're going to collect the input from the user, and we're going to assign that input to a variable named guess. Then we're going to make the variable guess be an integer with that line right there. Then we're going to put if guess, and remember, it needs equals equals to compare if it equals number here. So if guess equals number, print congrats you win, and then break. And remember, break, what that does is escapes you from the loop. So then, since there's nothing down here, it's over. Else, if they don't guess number, print sorry please try again, and increment the variable turns by 1. That's what this line says. Increment turns by 1. And then we have our final if statement down here that says if turns equals 3, then print sorry you lose. And then that's going to end it, because there's nothing else underneath that. So, and it's also going to end it, it's going to end it because there's nothing else underneath it, but it's also going to end it because the while loop, the condition has been met, so it's going to automatically stop doing this while loop after that. And since there's nothing down here, the app's done and it will end. So that's just a nice little basic guess the number game, but it's a good way to put together a lot of what we learned so far in these videos. Alrighty, so now we're going to start getting into some other things, and we're actually going to go over modules a little bit more, but now some more fun things are going to start happening. Alrighty, I appreciate you watching my videos. Please continue to watch them, and please look for more new ones as I continue to add not just Python videos, but other programming languages as well. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.